mean, similarly, there's been a lot of stuff recently in social media about JK Rowling, and I know that I've talked about this on a previous vlog, which probably has never made it into a video, or I've never done anything with it because I'm so slow in getting them done. But JK Rowling is supportive of this woman that went to some employment tribunal to argue that she had the right to misgender people if she doesn't believe they are the gender they say they are. And of course, JK Rowling puts everything down to sex, but it's all about sex. You know, it's again what you're born with. You can't believe yourself into being a different gender. And a lot of people picking up on that, and a lot of people, you know, from what I understand, some senator quoted J.K. Rowling in some law where they're trying to take away more rights from trans people. People don't understand or can't comprehend the reach that a single person can have with their opinion. There's no they have no evidence to support it. It's just their opinion. Yet people start saying, you know, they're using their name, their position, and they're hurting people. I mean, as all these people that presume that they lump, you know, has anybody hurt JK? Has a trans person gone out and actually harmed JK Rowling? Did anybody hurt the person that she supported, the one that went to the tribunal? Did somebody actually hurt? Did a trans person hurt that person? Or is it just that they had hurt feelings being told, in their mind saying, I have to call this man a woman? That's not hurt. That's mutual respect. That is just being polite. She's not being hurt or harmed. I've told a lot of people, you don't have to believe I'm a woman. You don't have to accept I'm a woman. The fact is legally, even if all else fails, you legally have to treat me as a woman. If you want to call me anything and you don't want to use pronouns, you don't want to use miss or she or her, call me Catherine. Catherine is my name. You don't even want to call me by my name, then call me they, this person. Major retired. But don't call me something I'm not. Because my name is legal. My name is legally Catherine. The government says you are Catherine. The government says I'm female. It's irrelevant, you know. There are times where, yes, you can look and say, well, biologically, chromosomally, hormonally, what are you? And if you want me to tell the truth, I'll tell the truth to the right people for the right reason. But the reality is this country, this province, this country says I'm female. It's on my birth certificate. Irrelevant as to what you think. Because there are actually men out there that were assigned male at birth, some doctor, and therefore all the other, you know, paperwork and stuff went through, says this is a man, but actually has female chromosomes. And there are women out there that, again, assigned a woman at birth. Looks like a woman, acts like a woman, talks like a woman. But has male chromosomes. There are women out there like Caster Semenya, South African runner, has female chromosomes, female DNA, female body, has some male traits, has pretty high testosterone, but she's still a woman, she's still female, even though bits and pieces of what people typically assign don't match. That's the thing. If JK Rowling's buddy old pal of hers, you know, didn't want to call somebody by their pronoun, they could have just called them by their legal name. That's where things are disappointing, because nobody is being harmed by being respectful. Been seeing some posts online, Twitter type stuff, where people still find a way to complain and harass trans people. Calling them predators, calling them men. Saying, trans women are men, they shouldn't be in women's shelters. Well, the thing is if a trans woman is in a shelter for abused women, it's because she's been abused as a woman. Irrelevant whether she has a penis or not, or had a penis, or whatever. And I understand, and believe me, I understand that There's women out there that have been harmed by men who have been raped. And any kind of sexual assault, sexual aggression is wrong. Don't get me wrong. It is wrong. It should not happen. But characterizing a group of people based off of one trait goes back to the same issues with all this, everything that's the whole racism and profiling and discrimination. I mean, if you're going to say that a trans woman is a threat because of chromosomes, or that she has a penis, the thing is how many trans women, and I'm talking real trans women, and yeah, I know that's even just using a caveat like that, a real trans woman. I mean, people say, oh, all this will lead to, you'll have men going around saying that they're trans so they can go into a woman's bathroom and assault them. I think there should be more worry about men using other tools such as power, authority, threats of losing jobs, threats of going to jail, all these kind of things. I mean, there's more chance, and there is more chance of a woman being assaulted by a cop or harassed or propositioned or forced, coerced, whatever the word you want to use. There's probably more chance of that happening with a cop than a trans woman. Because trans women are women. Trans women don't want to be raped. Trans women are not aggressive. Trans women typically have no testosterone in them. Our aggression is gone. Our anger is gone. Our having sex on the mind is gone. It's gone. Because we're transitioning. We're moving away from that, or have moved away from that. So these women who say, "Oh well, I don't want to see any penises in a women's shelter." Well, for a year and a half, I was using the ladies' change room at a military government campus, you know, pre-surgery, but post starting transition. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm just saying, because I was there basically every single day, there was a lot of time in which somebody could have seen my penis. And you know what? Nobody ever saw my penis. Nobody ever saw my penis. Why? Because just like every other woman there, I don't want other people seeing me naked. You know, I did staged undressing, staged dressing, you know. Things were covered up, things were hidden. That's the norm. The absolute norm. All the time. And I'd wonder how in a shelter you would end up having the possibility of the clients seeing each other naked. How do they ever get to be possibly naked at the same time in the same place? How can there be a penis being seen in a women's shelter, even if there was one? That's the kind of thing I don't get. But these people are saying, oh, well, why don't trans people just, like, advocate for their own spaces? I guess the thing that I see in all that stuff is where and how would this be any different what is a trans women's space? How is it any different than a woman's space? I guess that's the kind of thing that is like, and then, you know, somebody pulls out, oh, well, you never accepted and considered this very specific paper that was done in Sweden. Some trans people ended up being more susceptible to criminal acts after transition than they were before. And, you know, I'm always so disappointed when I read something like that because they're so there's so many other factors that can go into it. I mean, you consider somebody before transition. I don't know, I guess is like a whole transition 101 thing tonight. Everything before transition. What are most trans people before transition? They are living in a cisgender, heterosexual world. Most of them are in a closet. They're in hiding, they're closeted, they're gonna stick by the rules. They're not gonna, and guess what? They typically have family, they have a job, they have everything they need in order to be, to live that life. The thing that happens is they lose that. After transition. So the problem is that once people transition, they typically have lost the family supports. They've lost their job. They've lost everything they need in order to have a good life. Oh fuck, that's where I wanted to go. Anyways, they've lost everything that they needed in order to live. And survive. So, and those things go along with, mental health issues. It's all kind of goes along with it. Once you've lost those supports, yes, you get rid of your dysphoria. But the thing is because society is so nasty, unsupportive, discriminatory, I mean, think about the US right now. Healthcare, like whole, definition, being able to be discriminated against. Based off a gender identity. You have no health care, then you're going to have issues with mental health. people will have to do things in order to survive. And you know what? I'm not condoning it, but some of that stuff may not exactly be legal. And I know that, the information there was from, if I remember correctly, the 60s or 70s, all the way until like the early 2000s. There's a lot of things that have changed in that 25 years or so. A lot of things have changed, especially in how healthcare is done. For trans individuals, human rights. It's just so much has changed in the world. And to not take that into account, not address differences in how it's all done, how it's all put together. But to turn and say, oh, well, this peer-reviewed study shows that trans people are just as or even more criminal. They're just as likely or more likely to do something wrong after surgery. So they're bad people. And the thing is I don't think anybody is actually saying that. And peer-reviewed, peer-reviewed only means so much. There can still be a lot of peer-reviewed work that is biased, unclear. Peer review doesn't mean that it is be all end all. It's that this person is throwing it around like it proves something. They were talking about 300 people over 25 years. Was it longitudinal? Was it random? I mean, where do they come up with these? Where do they come up with these 300 people? For all we know, they're the only 300 people, or they're the most public of the 300 people. It does not speak for the whole population. doesn't speak for everybody. Anyways, I guess it's just hard when you hear people throwing around statements that have limited basis in fact. There's not a lot of data to back it up. It's based on opinion and conjecture. And I'm not about like doing things that, you know, equate to gatekeeping or anything like that, but you know, sometimes it's like I just want to ask, you know, how many trans women who are out transitioning or have transitioned, are under medical care, have a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, you know, how many of these people actually are sexual predators? How many? And that's the thing is how many? And then if you compare the number of trans people in the world versus how many of those trans people are actually sexual predators, you probably find that the percentage of these predatory trans women is actually much lower. It's hypothesizing. Is much lower than the general male population. And I would hazard a guess that there are probably it probably wouldn't be any significantly different than the number of predatory women there are. And I'm talking women who are predators over other women. But the thing is nobody ever shows this. And in reality is there's a big reason why this doesn't happen, is because there's not a lot of statistics about transgender people. So many trans people hide because they are discriminated against or harassed or fear for their lives or. Yeah. But somehow people will find a way to group everybody together. somehow make everybody pay the same price. Like every black person is a criminal, right? I mean, that's what people are saying. You know, when you racial profile or you make statements, you know, it's when you stereotype, when you generalize, it harms everybody. People are doing that, getting right into the us and them again. Saying you're different than me. You're not worthy. You're not worthy of respect. It's the moment that you judge or state that somebody or whatever is not worthy of respect and compassion and understanding, you were then opening yourself up to be judged and felt to be not worthy and of compassion, respect, and understanding.